How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading while the price is going up or down. Revolut to shutter U.S. crypto operations due to regulatory environment. So Revolut is going to halt operations effective September 2nd, 2023. This is due to regulatory landscape of the U.S. and the uncertainty. From this date, U.S. customers will no longer be able to buy any crypto. They will be able to hold it. They do plan to try and find a way to support US users again in the future, but starting October 3rd, 2023, users will no longer be able to buy, sell, or hold any crypto on Revolut if you're in the US, so I suggest you get out sooner rather than later. Worldcoin bug allowed anyone to become an orb operator, CertiK. So CertiK is a security firm, if you don't know. Crypto security firm CertiK revealed it recently unearthed a vulnerability in the Worldcoin protocol that allowed an attacker to bypass the verification process to become an orb operator. According to CertiK, this vulnerability would have enabled anyone to circumvent the verification process. Any individual wouldn't be obligated to be a legitimate company, have a proper ID, or pass the interview process that they have. They said, in a normal case, only legit businesses that pass the Worldcoin strict identification verification process can run an orb operation, which collects the user's iris information, but this vulnerability let anyone do that. However, it was promptly fixed once this was found. So that's the good news. There are some other vulnerabilities that are listed here, but they do have plans to address them. Comedian Adam Devine, the new Matt Damon, face the crypto exchange BitGet. So big warning here, don't go into an exchange because of some big celebrity. If you didn't see Shaq and all them last year, they pretty much led people to slaughter, so I would not advise just following just because this guy's in it. Coinbase wants SEC lawsuit thrown out, says Gensler overstepped his authority. So Coinbase is saying that the SEC's claims must be dismissed because their subject matter falls outside the agency's delegated authority. So they're saying they don't have any reach in crypto. Coinbase is now arguing that none of the digital assets and services it offers qualify as a security per the Supreme Court's definition and precedent of what a security and investment contract mean. Paul Grewal said on Twitter that they do not offer any investment contracts. So by ignoring this precedent, the SEC has violated due process, abused its discretion, and abandoned its own earlier interpretations of securities laws, he wrote. But onto the charts. So hopefully that'll gain some traction in court and the SEC will get another big loss. So over on our total, we are kind of falling away, so I am going to get rid of this breakout. We're going to keep this here though. If we keep pushing lower, we may invalidate this pattern. And like I said, we could retest this range. If we don't bounce from here, then this pattern is in danger. RSI is heading down, stochastic's heading down. Money flow's trying to go bullish, VWAP's trying to head back up, so that could bring our momentum back up. We're going to have to watch the next few candles and see if they're green and if we fill that gap. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are getting a slight little drop from today's candle right at the end here. Don't know why it says we're green, even though we're red, but stochastic is starting to bend. RSI is kind of flat. Our VWAP is heading up. Our money flow is heading up, but our VWAP is curling down. Our momentum is starting to come out, so money flow is coming in, but our VWAP, our medium term trend, is starting to go more bearish. So if that picks up, the money flow may start to come out. Just real quick, if we jump to like the 2 hour, you can see money flow starting to round out, so that's a little cautionary. Our VWAP starting to get a little bit of a round here, so we may see a bit of a dip here. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are pushing away. I'm going to call this a flag after our flag now, since we're just ranging here. We pretty much have that with Bitcoin too. So that could give us a little mini breakdown right around here to bring us toward this area where we were at, kind of where that little mini gap is, where we gapped up, so we could fill that. Over on the daily for Bitcoin, we are kind of dropping. I did say this is more of a flag here too on like Twitter, because overall, if you take these trends, we're kind of ranging. But we do have like these little freak breakouts here. So if you consider those just a freak breakout, and these are trend lines, that could bring us to the beginning of the breakdown of this pattern, unless we break down sooner rather than later. But either way, that brings us into the golden pocket. RSI is starting to curl over, stochastic's starting to push down. Money flow's trying to go bullish, our VWAP is pushing out. Our momentum is coming down with a red dot as our VWAP is going more bearish. So we do have a little more bearish momentum and a bearish possibility on this daily. Real quick, if you haven't liked this video and subscribed to the channel already, also click the links down below for our Discord and our Reaper Apparel co-merch. Not wearing it today, but it's great merch and you'll get 10% off. But onto the 4 hour. So over on the 4 hour, you can see that zigzag a little more, bit better definition of this flag we're in. You have a couple freak breakouts, but overall we're ranging. RSI is losing strength, stochastic's losing strength, VWAP's heading down pretty strongly. Our money flow is in the bearish territory, and our momentum's coming down pretty sharply with that VWAP. So 4 hours are not looking too great here. If this continues, we could get more sell pressure. Over on the 2 hour, we have manipulation X here after another manipulation X. So we have that double manipulation X that wants to bring us down. We got a big wick with this green candle, so that's a long lower shadow candle. That is a bullish candle. So if we do get a push up, we could possibly hit the top, try to break out. If we do break out, we'll retest this range again. However, if we don't get some green candles here, we could just flop over and fill these wicks in. Stochastic does have a bearish divergence that wants to bring us lower. Our money flow is trending out. Momentum is coming out. VWAP is in the bearish territory, but trying to come back up. We'll have to see if it can gain some strength. Looks like it's kind of meeting resistance at about 12, where it's had these bigger dips. So if we push away from here, we could set up more bearish action to come. Over on the 1 hour, our RSI is kind of tapering off. Stochastic's trying to run up. It's at about 26, needs to get at 30 or above to be in that bullish territory. So if we do start to curl over, we could give it back to the bears and see another downswing. We do have those manipulation X's on the 1 hour that brought us down, you can see kind of, but we got that long lower shadow candle still. Momentum is coming down with the green dot as our VWAP's heading into the bullish territory, but it's very weak, so it looks like it could roll over and come back into the bearish territory, especially with that little weak red candle right there, and this very, very weak green candle we have, so not setting up very strong momentum. So our money flow could come out and we could get another push down if we're not careful. Over on the daily for graph, we are invalidating our pattern, so I am going to delete it at this point since we've been warning about that for several days. So we are coming back down. Our next support could be around here. If we zoom out, we'll get our volume profile. So you see we broke that point of control a few days ago, and we've been sliding away from it ever since. So our next stop would be this value area low, since we were not able to go to the value area high. Now, we could get bounced midpoint here where all this higher volume is. If we do get bounced and come back to the point of control, we could try to go back to the value area high. But if that doesn't happen, just be aware that the value area low is the next stop. RSI is coming down, stochastic's coming down, our VWAP's pushing down, our money flow is in the bearish territory, our momentum as a red dot is coming down, so overall we have a little more bearish pressure than bullish. Over on the 4 hour, don't know why I zoomed down instead of up, but we are sliding away, so not really making a clean down channel, which is good for bears because a clean down channel means you have an upwards potential. A not so clean down channel means you're not in a downwards channel and you might not bounce up, so the bulls might not get that strength up. So we could see further downside, especially if we're going to fill that lower futures gap we still have on Bitcoin. RSI is overall sliding, stochastic's rounding off. VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. Our money flow is starting to push away a little bit, so our money flow is in the bearish territory, kind of ranging, trying to head back up. If it does manage to break through that neutral, then we could get some bullish action, but for now it's looking more bearish than bullish. Our momentum is going to red dot invalidate in a double green dot, so overall we have more bearish signals than bullish. Over on the 2 hour, you can see we're just sliding away. Our stochastic is falling, RSI is falling, money flow rejected across from that neutral, so our money flow is still in the bearish territory and coming down. VWAP is trying to head back up slightly, but we are meeting a little bit of a resistance around the 6 zone, so if we curl over, we could send another bearish swing, kind of like Bitcoin. Momentum is coming down, but that could bounce if our VWAP manages to gain strength here. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic is trying to run up. Money flow is getting higher lows and trying to point up, so if that money flow can keep doing that, money flow could turn bullish and push us higher. VWAP is trying to go through that neutral, but kind of starting to taper off. So if it doesn't push through that neutral strong, we could just roll over and set more bearish action. So just be weary of that and watch out for that. Momentum is trying to curl up, but as that VWAP loses its strength, that curl is not likely to happen. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are beginning our breakdown of our pattern that we had. So we are going to head toward our value area low, most likely, unless our total turns around. Our RSI is starting to slide. Stochastic wants to make a bullish cross, kind of, but we are pretty beat down on the stochastic, so our RSI is just sliding. Momentum is coming down pretty harsh. Our VWAP is slightly starting to come up, but that momentum's still gaining bearish momentum. So if this VWAP doesn't manage to keep heading up, we could just round off, and this momentum could decrease even sharper. On the 4 hour, you can see we are just kind of just dropping out after we hit that top, kind of like I warned about. Our stochastic is trying to push up, RSI is trying to head up, our money flow is rejecting away from that neutral, so we are getting a little bit of a bearish push from that. VWAP's doing the same. Our momentum has a red dot invalidating a green dot and coming down. Our momentum's been trying to push up, but it just keeps getting slammed back down. So the bears seem to have a little more control currently. Now you can see we broke down, had a gap, we filled that gap, retested, and then rejected. We do have a slight gap here, so we could do that again. If on that second retest, we break through and come into the pattern, we could invalidate the breakdown. But if we come back, fill that gap, and then curl away again, then we will set more bearish pressure and we would see possibly the full breakout of our pattern. Stochastic is pushing down, RSI wants to curl up. Our money flow is overall getting higher lows. VWAP's trying to push up with higher lows. So we do have a bullish trend for both of those. Momentum is trying to curl up as our VWAP's pushing up. So we do have a little bit of hopium here as things are looking like they want to push higher. But just keep in mind that could be just to fill the gap. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic's running up, RSI is kind of turning over. Our money flow is struggling under that bearish territory, keeps getting close to that neutral and just getting rejected. VWAP is trying to head bullish, but it's kind of tapering off, not very strong. We do have a bullish divergence, but it's not really going anywhere. So we may just roll over, push away, and then we could fill this gap later. So just keep that possibility in mind as well. Over on XRP for the daily, we are just dumping, so I did warn yesterday we could retest these 50-cent zones. RSI is just dumping. Our money flow is testing bearish. Our VWAP is pushing down. Our momentum is coming out. So overall, we have more bearish pressure here, and we could come back down, possibly retest this range as that's our next support zone, and push back up. So just keep that in mind. We would probably have to go really far back. If we go further back, like before bear market, we do have some support resistance areas right above where we are. So those could play in our favor here. Those could help us make a bounce from here. But just be aware, if we don't manage to catch a range here, we could end up just spilling over for our local because we just got this big run up. So over on the 4 hour, now that we're done talking about that, we are pushing down, RSI is coming down, stochastic's about to get a bearish cross, our VWAP is pushing down, money flow is dumping, our momentum is pretty beat down, has a red dot, so it wants to come even lower, but really can't. So overall, we're not looking very good. Over on the 2 hour, we are overall pushing down, we have big red candles, so we may get a corrective jump up, but then we could get a jump up, push back down. Don't know, we'll have to see if this money flow can become bullish. Stochastic is pushing out, RSI is pushing out, VWAP is trying to make a little bit of a retest, so our VWAP is pushing down. but is trying to get some more bullish upside. So we'll have to see if it can get through that neutral, gain some strength and hold. If not, we could just continue ranging downwards until we hit this zone, which isn't that far away. Momentum does want to come up, but that's going to be dependent on that VWAP. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a double red X that brought us slower. Our stochastic's running up, RSI is starting to kind of taper off. Our money flow overall is trending out. Our VWAP is trying to push that neutral, but it's kind of curling. So we have a double green dot in our momentum that wants to bring us up, but if we curl over and round out here, we could get a red dot to invalidate that and push even lower. Finally on Algo, for the daily, real quick, like the video if you haven't already and subscribe to our channel, as well as leave a comment and visit our links down below. We are trying to slightly push under, but we do still have this volume profile that's trying to keep us in check. So if we don't push away from this, we could push to our point of control and make the start of our breakout. Stochastic is dumping though. RSI is kind of holding its ground, even though our stochastic has no strength. VWAP is trying to curl, so if that VWAP can break through the neutral this time, that could help set some bullish momentum. Our money flow is overall making slight higher lows, trying to curl up. So if that can continue heading up, we could get some bullish momentum, and maybe we'll get a big green candle like that. I wouldn't hope for a big green candle like that though, because as you see, that big green candle made us drop. We are feeling about, let's see, like 2/3 of that candle we've dropped from. So that's why you don't want a big move, you want steady moves. Stochastic's starting to round off, RSI is losing strength and starting to head down. VWAP is heading through that neutral, heading more bearish. Our money flow is in the bearish territory, struggling to maintain any kind of a trend though, and our momentum is doing the same, but is coming out. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow is trending away from that neutral, so that's not good if we're going to get our break up. Stochastic is dumping, RSI is coming out, VWAP is heading down pretty sharply, but trying to come back up. So if we can get a green dot, maybe set some sort of divergence up and push higher, but we'll have to see. Over on the 1 hour, money flow is rejecting away from that neutral, tried to cross back bullishly several times and has not been successful, so that is a little worrisome for another leg down, or possibly an invalidation of this pattern. Stochastic is trying to run up, RSI is losing strength though because it has no bullish momentum. Our momentum is trying to come up, does have a green dot, but if that VWAP rolls over here, that green dot could get invalidated. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.